Characters from myth, legend, and folklore are often used in comic books, whether as mainstay characters or as characters for like a seasonal story arc or what have you. And so today we're going to be talking about one particular folklore character with a lot of significance to Christmas, Santa Claus. Santa's appeared in comic books since about the mid-1900s, with his first appearance being in a DC comic book called Superman's Christmas Adventure #1, which was obviously released in December of 1940. And then his first Marvel appearance was just over 14 years later in Strange Tales #34 in February of 1955. Both comics give various aliases for Santa, including Kris Kringle and Father Christmas. The Marvel wiki that I will link below lists a lot more, because it just basically gives you his name in every language on Earth, almost. They both give his only relative as his wife, Mrs. Claus, and they also give his marital status as well, which is obvious because it's his wife. Marvel has assigned him an affiliation with elves and reindeers, while DC defines his alignment as good, and they both give the base of operations as being the North Pole. They differ on whether his identity is public or secret. DC says that he has a public identity and that everyone knows who he is, while Marvel says that his identity is secret and that everyone only knows him as Santa Claus, and not what his actual name is. DC defines his job as a philanthropist, while Marvel simply states that his occupation is as a gift bringer. Both of the characteristics sort of agree on some things. They both say that he's approximately 6 foot, 5'11", 6 foot tall, that he's around about 115 kilos. I think the lower one is 113, with the higher one being 120, and I've just sort of found a round number in the middle there. They both give that he has blue eyes and white hair. They both claim that he was born in Lycia, with DC being more specific and giving his actual name and like year of birth and stuff, with Marvel just being like saying it was around about the 4th century, which it is, because the DC year of birth that they give is 270 Common Era, which is only 30 years off being the 4th century, so near enough too. DC gives his superpowers as being a quite short list. He has charisma, which means that he can engender trust and inspire hope in other people. He's immortal, with his aging sort of stopping once he gets to what we all imagine him to look like. He has magic powers of an unknown origin. His toy bag can fit any amount of gifts, and that's just all the explanation we get for that. His sleigh can defy gravity and traverse entire continents. The lumps of coal that he gives to the naughty people can damage your confidence, your pride, and your motivation, so they have like a psychic effect to them, which is kind of cool. And he at one point wielded 2 sharpened shivs on a misadventure with Zarnian bounty hunter Lobo. He's also able to give Darkseid a lump of coal every year, despite Darkseid's constant upgrades to Apocalypse's weaponry and defense and security, with the most he's ever able to inflict upon Santa being that he eventually enters the room that Darkseid's in with his clothes smouldering slightly. whereas Marvel's Santa, there was a lot more information regarding him on his wiki, because, and a lot of people may have seen this image on Facebook, but he is actually Marvel's most powerful mutant. His real name is unknown in Marvel, hence the secret identity. And as I said before, he was also born in Lycia, 4th century, but they also say that he eventually became a bishop of Myra, and that before sort of awakening his mutant abilities, he was sort of shy, but gave out gifts and stuff to poor people, and that sort of led to him becoming a saint, and etc. It has a much longer list of powers. He has longevity instead of immortality. I don't think immortality is on his list. I think it's longevity, which just means that he lives an incredibly long lifespan and just ages at a much slower rate. He's able to size shift not only himself but other objects in order to be able to fit down chimneys. He's impervious to heat and fire, which is how he's able to survive landing in an active fireplace. He can levitate back up chimneys, usually by touching his nose and nodding. He's able to shapeshift, including physically transforming himself, a person, or into an inanimate object. And he also, it's lower on my list, he also appears to other people in their native race. So he would appear to Caucasians as Caucasians, to Asians as an Asian, to Middle Eastern people as a Middle Eastern person, etc. He's able to teleport. He has atmokinesis, which is the really cool word for basically saying that he can control weather, which he usually uses just to generate snow. He has morality sensing, which is how he's able to determine if you've been naughty or nice. With his strength augmented on Christmas Eve, he can lift up to 2 tons. He has access to a wide variety of supernatural artifacts, which he uses to accomplish his various feats of magic. Basically anything that doesn't fall under his own abilities that the story requires. Appears to, yeah, that's the one that I just said. He radiates a subtle, charismatic, charming effect on people, able to soften hardened hearts and even convert criminals. He commands a sleigh pulled by a number of magic flying reindeer who enable him to travel across the planet, stopping at most houses along the way in a single night. It always makes me laugh. The people are like, wow, in a single night, that's not that long. In winter, it's summer in the southern hemisphere, and you've also got to remember that the days technically, however long it takes for, well, 24 hours basically, because of the rotation of the Earth. He could just stay at midnight the entire way around the Earth. It takes him 24 hours. We all think it's one night. Some little logistics there for you. His magical sack is actually a tesseract, serving as a portal into sort of like a pocket dimension where he just stores all the toys. And therefore he'd be able to have like some elves in there giving him the gifts for the next house, and their own magic would let them know what house is the next one, etc., which is kind of cool. At each home, he travels down the chimney or closest alternative to, where he deposits the gifts. That's not really a power. His reindeer, Rudolph, has his nose that gives off a bright red glow that enables him to see and navigate through the worst blizzards, fogs, and other conditions of poor visibility. And he is served by a number of magical elves who construct the toys. It does also give origins for the elves on that wiki, saying that though some of them have differing origins, the majority are descended from the light elves of Norse mythology, sort of tying him back to like characters like Thor and Loki and the Asgardians, and that they are resistant to aging and conventional disease, so they can't get sick, and they just don't age, which means that they are just as old as him and have never had to take a sick day. There is one particular elf named Sunquist, who is solar powered, whatever that means. I don't know how, I guess that's the same way that Superman's solar powered, maybe. Because Sunquist can animate toys and rearrange matter, which I'm sure comes in very handy when you're needing to fight off the bad guys to save Christmas. Yeah, if you want to read the full articles where I got all of this information, I will leave them in the description down below. And until next time, guys. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you liked that, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're notified when I upload a new video. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and share it with your friends as well. And if you want to see more content in between uploads, you can follow my Instagram at Ace of the Arts or my Tumblr at Stories Around a Campfire. And I will see you in the next video.